So today we are going to do an introduction on the Bandhas. Now, the Bandhas, Bandha means lock, and we have three main Bandhas in the body, three physical locks that we can perform in order to contain prana in the body. If we consider prana to be our energetic life force, we may lose prana through the orifices of the body, the upper body, the head, and in the lower body, the pelvic orifices. And so we think about trying to contain the prana in the body so that we use our energy really efficiently. And the bandhas kind of represent some sort of kind of diaphragms that we have: the pelvic diaphragm, the respiratory diaphragm, and this sort of like dome in the throat. But we also have, sort of dome-shaped diaphragms in like the hands and the feet. So anything that's kind of like that we can contract and kind of feel as though we're pulling energy inward and upward and toward the center of our being, physical being, mental being, emotional being, spiritual being, our being, on whatever level you would like to interpret that. So the other reason that we really want to get into our bandha work very, very early on in our practice is because of the more advanced stages of pranayama. So I'd like to do a whole series on progressive stages of pranayama. So it would be important to view this video first as before you go into your more advanced stages of pranayama, and I'll refer to this video in the advanced stages of pranayama as we progress. So I think what we'll do is we'll make separate videos on each of the bandhas, but first, just to give you something to work on, we'll do a little bit of what I call intra-abdominal pressure using the breath. So you can do this with me. This can be a physical practice. And so just take a bit of time to develop some long, slow, deep breathing. I'm going to use Ujjayi breathing, so you can hear the sound that I make as I breathe, and we'll definitely do a whole video on Ujjayi, but it might help you to just breathe with me for a few moments as you get going. If you want a bit more information about basic breathing practice, I've recorded a video for that. Important not to strain your breath and to just keep the breath really steady and comfortable. So what I'd like you to experience when you breathe in is that feeling of effort that you make. So we contract respiratory muscles when we breathe in, so just observe that now for the next few in-breaths. We are contracting the muscle of the diaphragm, we're contracting the muscles between the ribs, the intercostal muscles, and we're contracting some muscles in the neck to help to lift the breath up into the top of the lungs. So I'd like you to feel all of that going on as you breathe in, particularly the muscles in the neck. These ones can be a bit weak. Okay, still a bit coronavirusy. And now let's just focus on the exhalation. So you feel a sense of expansion when you breathe in. And on the exhalation, a sense of retraction. Everything sort of like slides back towards the midline. Moves away from the midline when we breathe in. And exhale. Moving back towards the midline. So now we're going to breathe in and we're going to hold the nose so that when you try to breathe in again, keep your mouth also closed, you'll be contracting your respiratory muscles as if you're trying to pull air into your body, but you won't be able to pull the air in because you will have blocked your nose by pinching your nostrils together with your finger and thumb. And let's have one hand on the belly so that you might be able to feel, and perhaps, not to just, we'll do it a few times, and you can move your hand around your belly to just kind of feel what it is. And I'm not going to suggest to you what you're going to feel, so you'll experience that for yourself. So when you're ready, take a deep breath in, hold your nose, and then try and breathe in again. So if you weren't sure about what you're doing, let's try it a couple more times. Take a deep breath in, hold your nose, try and breathe in while you're holding your nose and see what you feel. Now, for some people, if that doesn't feel right for you in any way, you must just stop. For some people, holding the breath in that way causes anxiety, might raise your heart rate, and it may just not feel like a good thing for you to do. So you must listen to that and stop your practice. But just to explain what was going on, when we breathe in, we create pressure. More air is coming into the torso, into the air body, the lungs. And when we increase that pressure, some pressure in another part of our body has to decrease. So what happened is that the pressure in the abdominal cavity, in the water body below the torso, then had to reduce in pressure because of the change in pressure up here. And what would have also happened, which would be more subtle, and I'm not sure if you would have felt it, would that the pressure in the pelvic cavity below the pelvic diaphragm, so if we think of the body kind of being divided up by the pelvic diaphragm and the respiratory diaphragm, and the pressure down here would also have changed. All right, try that one more time, and maybe just bring a bit more awareness into the pelvic region as you breathe. Take a few breaths. Just get your breath nice and steady. And you'll feel the rhythm and the movement of the breath as you breathe. And moving down through the sacrum, through the pelvis, into the abdomen, into the upper body, of course. And then when you're ready, you'll take that deep breath in, hold the nose, and try and breathe in again. Breathe out to breathe in. Let's do some easy breaths after you've done the practice. So perhaps you felt some subtle change in pressure in the pelvic region, but most definitely in the abdominal region. It's scientific. You couldn't not have that going on in your body. It's an absolute scientific change of pressure test. So for sure, definitely feeling it in change in pressure in the abdomen, increased pressure in the upper body, the chest. And what you may also have found when you're doing that is that it pulls your body into a bit more of a back bend. So as the pressure increases in your upper body, that gives you more extension in your spine. So you can kind of see how that would be quite a good thing to do at the top of your back bend when you've extended as far as is going to be reasonable and comfortable and within your pain-free range of end range of movement, that you could possibly go a little bit further if you were to take a deep breath in, hold, expand the ribs and chest. We should learn to do it without actually pinching the nose. So if you want to just do one more, trying it that way, take a deep breath in. Don't breathe any more air in, but make the same contraction in your respiratory muscles as if you were breathing in, and see if you can create that change in pressure. So feel how your respiratory muscles contract when you breathe in, hold, and then contract them again. Okay, that was the in-breath. And then something amazing happens, I think amazing, when we do this on the exhalation. And it should be okay for everybody again. Listen to your own self when you do the exhalation. We're going to be breathing out this time, emptying as much air from the lungs as we can, so reducing the pressure in the chest, and then increasing it by trying to breathe in by blocking the nose and having a hand on the belly, see what happens. But when we've breathed out and then we try and breathe in again and we don't take air in, again there might be a feeling of anxiety because the brain isn't getting oxygen, the heart isn't getting oxygen in a way that it normally would do. So I would just, relax and just maybe listen to the instructions if you're getting any adverse effects from doing this. But if you're comfortable to do it, we'll do a few rounds. So take a deep breath in order to empty the breath, and then at the end of the exhalation, hold your nose and try and breathe in. Let's try that again. You're taking a deep breath out, so breathe in order to breathe out. Hold the nose and try and breathe in. All right, so what happened there was we had even more suction in the abdominal region because the pressure in the chest was massively increased. So we reduced the pressure, then we tried to breathe in that tried to increase the pressure, we couldn't, and so the decrease of pressure went to here. So for some of you, you might have even got a sense of the diaphragm lifting up into the rib cage, the abdominal cavity really sucking in very firmly, and then we would have got more lift in the pelvic diaphragm just from these changes of pressure in the body. So even stronger than the in-breath. And also you might have felt, and we'll do another one, that when we sucked in, the lumbar spine slightly reduces. So we slightly flatten out in the lumbar as we pull in the abdomen. So you can feel how strong that is for your core, that the whole of the core gets sucked in, and that's going to really support your lumbar spine. And any amount of core strength that we can encourage in our body, diaphragmatic pelvic floor strength, deep transversus abdominal muscle around here strengthening, and because all of these deep postural core muscles are nervated by the same nerves, we also have multifidus muscles that connect the vertebrae together up and down the spine. You can imagine them like shoelaces. And all of that goes on very strongly as those muscles, deep core postural muscles, contract. So you can help to strengthen your postural core by using these breathing suction techniques. Let's do one more on the exhalation. We'll try and do it without holding the nose. And do allow your spine to flex a little bit as you complete that exhalation. And take some easy breaths, and then when you're ready on an in-breath, breathe in to breathe out. Let's make sure you get lots of oxygen. So when we breathe out and hold the breath out, you need to have lots of oxygen circulating around your body anyway. Exhale. So I didn't say lift the pelvic floor, I didn't say pull your navel in, I didn't say any of these things that we quite often say when we're talking about engaging the core muscles. We just did it using the suction of the breath. So that is the basis of Bandha work. Mula Bandha being your pelvic floor diaphragm, Uddiyana Bandha being that lift of the diaphragm up into the rib cage. Jalandhara Bandha, you might have seen some stuff going on in my throat, but this sort of capping of the energy from this level, so you're holding the prana in the center of the body using the bandhas. But we will go on to talk about core strength quite soon, but that's a very good introduction to how you can engage your core muscles using your breath without even consciously trying, and we will add to that this conscious control of the core muscles as we move specifically from one bandha to the next. Okay, thank you for